But let's go to the District Council. Judy Turner is Deputy Mayor. She told me that at first the council, and this was before her time, believed mitigation schemes would work. But in 2012, they were told a debris net wouldn't make the homes sufficiently safe.
So since then, we wanted to really establish clearly in our minds and scientifically that the level of risk was indeed intolerable and that the risk to life was real. So for the last 18 months to 2 years, we have been aware and have had confirmed to us by scientists that living in the Awatarariki fanhead has a considerable risk for people to remain there in their homes.
Why has it taken so long for you to know that? GeoNet said in 2005 there are areas around Matata where it is unsafe to live. Tonkin and Taylor in 2013 gave the Whakatane District Council, IEU, a map with 5 streets identified as having assumed vulnerability to fatal injury in the event of severe flooding.
Absolutely. So I mean, once we've got that absolutely clear, that was always the concern right back at the beginning. But for people to be asked to voluntarily retreat from their property, you want to give them clear evidence. Once we have the evidence, then we have to begin the journey of discussing this with the people involved, and there's a number of households involved. And
didn't the council, and this predates you, I know, didn't the council have clear evidence in 2005? They had the flood, they had GeoNet explicitly saying there are areas around Matata where it is unsafe to live. Why is this journey, to use your word, only reaching some resolution in July 2017?
I think because there was a real hope at the very beginning of the journey by previous councils that they could find an engineering solution that would mitigate the risk to life so that people could remain on their properties. And that's certainly what people at the time said they wanted.
So when did it become painfully, explicitly apparent that that was not going to be the case?
Well, 2012 we were informed by the engineers working on the project that they could not guarantee that it would be successful, and so therefore we had to pull the plug on that for any further development. We then went back to, now in the absence of an engineering solution, we went back to geotech experts and said, now you need to make this perfectly clear before we start taking some serious steps. And so we were given that fact. We've now allocated staffing resource towards working household by household with
now,
these families.
Forgive me, that was 2012, 5 years on, and I'm looking at a council document. It
was probably more 2014 by the time we had unequivocal evidence that this was a risk to life.
Okay, I'm looking at a council document that's just come out in May. So what's that? Let's say 6 weeks ago. The council decided to initiate a change to the district plan which, if approved, would remove the current residential zoning and prevent any further development in this area. So the flooding was in 2005. GeoNet said in 2005 it was unsafe. Tonkin Taylor identified in 2013 that there were 5 streets that were susceptible, vulnerable to potentially fatal flooding, and as recently as May you are discussing changing current residential zoning to prevent further development in this area.
That's, to be honest with you, John, that is just a very small part of what has to happen. We clearly have to remove that from being a residential zone, but you have to understand.
You still haven't done that, so I could still build.
Well, that's a very short walk to do that. That's a matter of we've just actually notified our plan. That's a journey that we can do very easily. But
just to clarify, that still hasn't been done. So I could still, under the current district plan, build in this area.
No, you would never be given permission because we know what's happening in the pipeline, so you would not be given permission to build.
Right, but you haven't formalised that in the district plan, have you?
No, but that's not difficult to do. Here's the problem we face. Under all the legislation that governs us as a territorial authority, we do not have the final say on removing people's existing property rights. So even if we rezone this land non-residential, people with existing use rights could still legitimately stay there. What is required, so these people will be required to leave, is that the regional council changes their plan, and they are the ones that have the power to require retreat. We have not got that ability. We've taken it as far as we can. We've talked to the regional council about their need to step up, because it is they that are the ones that have the power to require people to and to leave, undo the existing use rights. They at this stage have shown no interest in doing that. So what we can do is we can put an application to them to have that changed, and we're going to do that. In parallel with that process, we are currently discussing with the people involved a voluntary retreat package, which would incentivise people. So we can't force them to leave. So we are providing an incentive.
Can the regional council force them to leave?
Yes, I can.
Would you like the regional council to do that?
What I'd like the regional council to do is to change their plan. I'd like them to come to the party, because the amount of money it will take for us to actually provide a reasonable incentive for people to leave is beyond the financial capacity of this council. We are reliant on the regional council and probably central government to help us with the funding that will be needed.
Have you asked central government for help with the funding?
Yes, we have.
Okay, and what has central government's reply been?
We haven't heard anything really of any concrete thing.
When did you ask them?
I'm just trying to think when it would have been. We certainly notified certain ministers that we think where this would fall within their ministries, that if we're going to help these people retreat, that it's going to cost money and more money than the council can. More debt than the council is already carrying for this project.
And when do you want this to happen by? When do you want the people?
Tomorrow
Right.
would be fine by me.
Judy Turner, Deputy Mayor. Tomorrow, we asked the Bay of Plenty Regional Council if they'd received a formal request from Whakatane District Council to make a plan change so it could acquire properties in the affected area. Remember, people rebuilt after 2005, and many say they would have been happy to go then, but they've started their lives afresh in the 12 years since, and they want a fair payment if they're going to go. Now, in a statement, the Regional Council's planning manager, David Fizaklia, said while it was aware of the District Council's intentions, no decision has been made as no request has been received. No request has been received. That's what the Regional Council is saying. Mr Fizaklia said any planning changes would need to be expedited to give certainty to the Matata community and residents. If the plan wasn't accepted, an independent hearing panel would be established and the public would be consulted. So 12 years on, this is still ongoing. We wanted to talk to Local Government Minister Anne Tolley about government funding to ensure property owners are paid fair sums to leave. Her office hasn't replied to us. We will keep trying.